So we got to brainstorming earlier this fall what we should do with this year's Generosity Sunday. Where should we give the offering this morning? And we came up with a plan, and by we I mean Steve, in case you don't like it. So if you don't know Miffy, you should. Miffy Brown has been on staff at Creekside for 43 years, 2 months, and 25 days.
Back in late 2020, because of some ongoing chronic health issues, because of losing my sister so suddenly in June of 2020, I began to sense just a growing desire to move towards retirement. My sister's daughter, Laura, she and I have always been very close. And when Holly passed away, it's hard to explain, but I just felt this desire to be able to move towards being close to her. One, because she now calls me her second mama. And also because she was pregnant with her first child, which was a miraculous provision of God. And so as I looked at my finances, the huge impediment was the mortgage that I carried. And honestly, I didn't see a way around it.
Miffy Brown has been a part of Creekside through a lot of really challenging times in Creekside's history. And we know, because people have told us, that when Creekside was going through these times, they knew they could stay at Creekside because Miffy showed up at church on Sunday and was worshiping.
So Steve called me into his office and told me what the idea was and got permission for the elders to use Generosity Sunday to help me take a bite out of my mortgage. And I was stunned. I called Laura, my niece, and I was like, "You're never going to believe this." And she just started crying on the phone. And she said, "I've been praying so hard for God to make a way for you to get up here sooner than like 7 years from now."
So next year, Miffy is stepping down to part-time as a part of a predetermined glide path towards retirement. And so we got to thinking, what could we do to bless Miffy as she prepares for this brand new stage of her life, this single woman in our church who has served our church so faithfully for 43 years, 2 months, and 25 days.
So when I got there on Sunday, what I was hoping that was going to come out of it was enough to wiggle things around enough. You know, it would be tight, but I would be able to at least move towards retirement at some point. And just hoping that it would be a big enough chunk that I could take enough off my mortgage.
And we got to thinking, well, she's got this mortgage. She's got this debt. And part of the reason she has this debt is because, and she'll tell you, surviving cancer is very expensive. So what if we as a church, this Generosity Sunday, pooled our resources and said we are going to do everything we can to take the biggest chunk out of that debt we possibly can as your church family? So we went to Miffy, we asked her permission, and graciously, generously, she said yes. She said we get to do this together. So this year's Generosity Sunday is going to go all towards doing everything we can to retire as much of Miffy's debt as we can before she leaves for retirement.
When I got here on Monday morning, not having slept much the night before because I was so excited, I came in. When I saw the amount that had come in, I was laughing and crying, and Steve had tears in his eyes because enough had come in to fully pay off my mortgage. It was astounding. It's a placeholder in my life where it doesn't even have to be just on financial things, but whenever the enemy presses in hard and I tend to take my eyes off of Jesus, it's those moments that I can look back and just see God's goodness and how it's always immeasurably above what we could ever hope and wish for. I will be forever grateful to God and to my church family.